Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the Midday News on 3FM 92.7. My name is Beatrice Adu. The news is also live on Kazmi 107.1 FM and across the world at 3news.com. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. 3 persons reported dead after yesterday's massive flooding across several parts of Accra. This afternoon, NADMO is underwriting an assessment of the extent of damage. Meanwhile, Electricity Company of Ghana says it is working to restore power in affected neighborhoods. We'll bring you the very latest from the ground as residents count their losses. Also coming up on the program, Minority in Parliament calls on Energy Minister John Jinapor to stop what members describe as scaremongering and focus on addressing the challenges in the sector. And much later on the program, with 2 more cases of Mpox confirmed, one in the Greater Accra region and one in the Western region, will engage the Ghana Health Service on containment measures. Thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. Now, the Electricity Company of Ghana, ECG, says it is collaborating with the National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, to restore electricity supply to communities cut off from the national grid after Sunday's downpour. 3 people were reported dead after several neighborhoods in the capital city were submerged by flood waters following more than 4 hours of torrential rainfall. The deluge cut off road networks, leaving commuters stranded and many homes completely overrun. Due to the severity of the flooding, NADMO requested ECG to isolate certain areas from the national grid as a safety precaution. In a statement, the Electricity Company of Ghana confirmed that it is working with NADMO to restore power to affected areas, including Borteman Stadium, affordable housing, Borteman Township, Little Roses, Lakeside, Kiseman, Dom Pillar 2 and others. Will be engaging with NADMO shortly. But first, Christian Yale has been going around some of the communities. He joins us live with the latest from these affected areas. Christian, first of all, I know several hours after the rains, has the current situation in some of the affected areas? Just tell us what the situation is.
Beatrice, I can tell you that I'm currently located at Nanakrom in the Adenta municipality. To start off with, I can confirm to you that a family has lost a 5-year-old daughter to the rain yesterday. In the process of trying to get themselves rescued from the floodwaters, she slipped into the water, and looking at the heavy current with which the floodwaters were moving, the water swept her away, and so now the family is still even looking for the body of this deceased child, who is just some 5 years old. But when you come to this entire area of Nanakrom within the Adenta municipality, it is tragedy, heavily hitting the town and the entire area, with almost everyone's life brought to a halt. Nothing can be salvaged anymore. People's homes have been flooded, people's shops have been submerged, and even vehicles and cars have all been grounded. There are some cars that have been turned upside down by the floodwaters, and that is the worrying situation you find here, Beatrice.
Devastating, especially for the family that has lost a young one. But aside from these descriptions you gave us, what other touching stories have you heard whilst being on your rounds?
Exactly. So we know that, even beyond here that we know one person has been confirmed dead, Beatrice, other areas like Lakeside and New Legon, there are other 2 confirmed deaths that the MCE has told us. And on our way here, when you see the level of the flood waters on the walls of buildings and how some of these walls have been broken down by the heavy water, you realize that it has really been an indescribable pain to these residents here, because indeed this is something that no one had expected to happen, but it has happened, and now it has changed the lives of almost every person here. Indeed, when you get here, you see people trying to dry their clothes, people whose sofas have been destroyed, cars, even the ones that are used for the public transport that we call the trotros, all of them have been grounded. And it has been a tale of tragedy. It has been a tale of pain and suffering in the hearts of these people here who are now helpless and are calling for help. And indeed, if any help should come for them, then it must be very, very now, because nothing really makes sense to them again than all the things, the properties that they have lost to these floodwaters just between yesterday evening and this morning.
Indeed, Christian Yali, I can imagine what's going on there, but they are asking for help. Are there specific things they expect authorities to do about the situation?
Exactly. A new place that they can reside, or new houses where they can lay their head, because most of them have, kept the wake throughout the night and have not had any sleep because their houses have been taken over by the floodwaters. Some are even now trying to pump or drill the water away from their houses. So that is one demand. There are others who are asking for financial help, especially. And we have seen NADMO officials around trying to drill or trying to, move a lot of these water that have packed people's houses out to pave way for some of these to be arranged or put in order. And so that is the situation right now. And then for those like the truck drivers who have been heavily hit by this, they are just pleading for, capital to help repair their vehicles. And even there are some who are driving four-wheel drives, like some 4x4s and the rest of them that have all had engine problems and cannot even start them as of now.
Question, finally, before you go, aside from this very community that you're painting a picture of for us, have you been to any other places? What situation did you find?
It is almost the same when you get to a place like New Legon. It's almost the same when you get to Ashiye. It's almost the same when you get to Lakeside. All of these are areas that I have visited prior to coming to Nanakrom, where I am currently. And it is almost the same thing, a trail of destruction that you see all around. And it is telling. The visuals themselves, the pictures, when you see them, when you get here, the feeling of despair is just telling, Beatrice.
Telling indeed. Thank you very much, Christian Yali. He's our reporter going around really assessing or looking at the devastation caused by yesterday's downpour for us. And indeed, we'll bring you more. We'll hear from the Electricity Company of Ghana as well as NADMO very shortly on this. But ahead of that, the minority in Parliament has asked the Minister for Energy and Green Transition, John Jinapor, to stop what members describe as scaremongering and focus on addressing the challenges in the sector. At a news briefing in Parliament, the ranking member of the Energy Committee, George Kwame Abuaje, said Dumso is gradually rearing its head again, and that should not be entertained.
This is not the first time the minister has made statements that paint a bleak picture of our energy situation. During the swearing-in ceremony of the president, he alarmingly stated that Ghana was left with only 5 hours of fuel, a comment he later retracted after clarifying that it pertained to heavy fuel oil, that is HFO. After causing needless anxiety, while neglecting to mention that other power plants were operational with available fuel, his subsequent assurances following the 2.6 days of fuel comment do little to alleviate our concerns. This pattern of panic, then retreat communication is unacceptable. The minister must stop frightening Ghanaians and start fixing the problems.
Well, let's listen to the Sector Minister, John Jinapor, and what he said about what the government is doing to solve the energy challenges as we have now.
So if we take Car Power, for instance, we've had very good meetings with them, and I can tell you the good news is that they've withdrawn the letter. The 18th deadline has been withdrawn, and that's very positive news. And that's what we do here. We find solutions. We inherited that problem, a legacy debt of about 400 million. We had to tell Parliament that is the problem we inherited. And I told them that I was working with the Minister of Finance. And I'm happy to know that we've agreed on a roadmap with Car Power. And so that letter has been withdrawn. That's positive news. They wanted to know our fuel stock. I told them the fuel stock is 2.6 days with place order. I'm also happy to know that this weekend we'll take delivery of the fuel.
And you had the Energy Minister, John Jinapor. He's the Minister for Energy and Green Transition. Earlier, you had a member of the minority on the Energy Committee, George Kwame Abuaje. Let's have a quick conversation with Evelyn Tingma, who is in Parliament, following this press conference from the minority. Evelyn, what more can you tell us?
Yeah, so Beatrice, so to add to what the minority spoke about this morning, and so they are saying that the last government, through prudent additions, strategically increased generation capacity based on demand and growth and assessment by 1,600 megawatts between 2017 and 2024. And so they are saying that the present government should do same by investing in the sector. And so they are also saying that the president's campaign on a 24-hour economy and this bold vision required uninterrupted power, but questions how the private sector, businesses, hospitals, agro-processing factories, among others, can operate around the clock when the lights are going off. So basically, they are saying that the minister should stop the fear-mongering and focus on fixing the poor supply issues for the independent power producers, where they think is the major issue here. And then they are also asking the minister to engage stakeholders to negotiate burdensome take-or-pay contracts. And so they are saying that it is time to stop talking and put the lights on, and as businesses are collapsing and the minority MPs especially are complaining bitterly about the situation as doomsday is gradually collapsing the economy. So they are saying that the Minister for Energy and Green Transition, his honeymoon is over. And so he should fix the problem and stop complaining, Beatrice.
Thank you so much, Evelyn Tingma. She is in Parliament following up on this press conference by the Energy Committee, particularly the minority side on the committee. Let's return to our earlier story about the flooding in a car that has claimed 3 lives so far, and the collaboration between the NADMO and the ECG to try to restore power to some of the affected areas. We're joined by Dr. Charles Ni Ayiku. He's General Manager for External Communications at the Electricity Company of Ghana. Good afternoon to you, sir. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good afternoon.
I can imagine that this disconnection, as it were, is massive, perhaps including Nana Chrome, that has seen a massive destruction. Aside from that, are you able to paint a picture for us how bad it is?
Okay, so following the heavy rainstorm yesterday, that's Sunday, the 18th of May, which caused quite should I say, some flooding and some outages within our network. We had a request from NADMO that we isolate some areas because of the situation, and that includes Boteman Stadium, Affordable Housing, Boteman Township, Lakeside, Nana Chrome, Kisiman, Domi Plateau, Christian Village, School Junction, Melcombe area, Maijo, Zumla, University Farms, Trasako, Third Gate, Ligon Hill, Santoy, Blue Kiosk, Adenta ECG office, and Medina Islamic University. So we are currently in touch with NADMO for their directives before we restore power fully.
But so far,
we hope to do so by the close of day today.
Okay, so far, are there communities among these areas you mentioned that you've been able to restore power to?
Yeah, there are some communities very close to these areas which we restored power. And gradually, as soon as we receive any clearance from NADMO, we quickly move in to do so.
Aside from the effort to restore power, would you say that there was no equipment of Electricity Company of Ghana which probably could prolong the problem of light out in these areas?
Well, we've had some broken conductors on our network, but we've worked on them, and we are still working on other affected systems or equipment within our network. but that would not delay.
And you're sure that by close of day, 6 p.m., 7 p.m., these communities should have their lights restored? That's what you're saying?
Yes. I mean, from our assessments and our conversation with our engineers on the ground, as well as with our meetings and contacts with NADMO, we hope to, because we expect the water to recede in some few hours and then work on our lines to restore power. But we also want to encourage our customers to contact the EC call center on 0302-611-611 or reach us through our social media handles if you observe that probably you've not received power after the restoration, or within your vicinity some do have and you don't. Please let us know, and then we would move in to assess the situation and then supply power.
Thank you so much. We'll have to end it here. Dr. Charles Ni Ayiku, his General Manager for External Communications at the Electricity Company of Ghana. You're still here on the Midday News on 3FM 92.7. Hopefully we should be able to connect to NADMO to bring us their assessment of the situation. 16 minutes past the hour of 12. When we come back, we'll tell you more about Mpox and what you need to do to protect yourself.
Hello, Ghana. It's a new year and Bills Microcredit is here to support your dreams. If you're not working but want to start a business, don't let money stop you. With just your Ghana card, you can get a loan to turn your ideas into reality. Already running a business? Need more capital? Or are you a salary worker looking for extra funds? Bills offers fast and easy loans with no collateral, no deposit, and no SUSI savings required. Wherever you are, whatever you need, Bills makes it happen. Call Bills Microcredit today. Call 0596 920 833 or 0302 200 390 and get started. Bills is licensed and regulated by the Bank of Ghana. Bills, financing your needs. Terms and conditions apply.
Freezer, yeah, diaba. Adama for diaba, freezer. Adama, akuafo semanhia. Adama, metimoso ma sorry. Kanino, obobo mo ase a, adu frefre no bia mienu miensa na se nan, after what we dia kwase. Adama for aduna akuafo ho hu se, ye de aduro ba kope, e be shifu ye bia. High technology, akofo freezer ba. Wenku a, eno anto benya 15 latest. No afia what ya no afia gum. O de basia, fu ye bia no basia bio, e ko ti se, obeti mo no. Ne mo ye sure se, o mention tasie. Ne mo ase na afọ na anu a freezer, o mpa we na apade freezer.
Basia, e be so do so amang, amoni age.
Omuti na me wasika, omuti na me di me nyina duru bia so mo dum du. Adama, without Adama no kuya. Adama, you can't resist.
Ubenya Adama West Africa for edwe bi wo baby biara ye ton kra ye ho edwu. Afi kayo na kenkan enchoya ewo edre ho.
Some 18 minutes past the hour of 12. Now the National Public Health and Reference Laboratory has confirmed 2 more cases of monkeypox, also known as Mpox, one in the Greater Accra region and the other in the Western region. This brings the total number of confirmed cases to 4 as of May 18, 2025. In a statement, the Acting Director General of the Ghana Health Service, Professor Samuel Kaba Akoriya, reiterated the government's commitment to safeguarding public health and ensuring the well-being of all residents. The statement added that the respective regional health directorates have activated public health measures, including contact tracing, to prevent the further spread of the virus. Preliminary investigations indicate that these new cases have no epidemiological link to the previously reported cases. The previous 2 Mpox cases were detected in the Accra metropolitan area of the Greater Accra region. Let's have a quick conversation with Dr. Joseph Oliver Kome. He's Director, Ghana Infectious Disease Center and Mpox Case Management Lead. Good afternoon to you, sir. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good afternoon, and thank you for having me.
Doc, are you able to confirm the details of the 2 newly recorded Mpox cases in Accra?
Well, when you say details, I want to know exactly what you mean by
So what
details.
we are learning is that they are different from the previously recorded or reported ones.
Yes, they are not linked at all. It's from different parts of the country. So there's one in Accra, and then we have another recorded in Takwa. So those are the two new cases.
Are there cases, or are these cases, okay, so you're just saying that they are not connected at all. But what does this resurgence of Mpox indicate about our current public health surveillance system?
I think it's coming out of the increased surveillance. Since the outbreak of the last two, we've been talking about Mpox. And I'm sure the public is also looking at the signs and symptoms. And people are coming out to say, can you look at this for me? What do you think? Is it Mpox or not? So I can tell you that there's been an increase in the number of suspected cases or suspected rash, but very few Mpox cases out of it, which is a good sign. We are happy people are coming out and people are getting tested. Mpox, the differential is chickenpox. So once it's not Mpox and it's chickenpox, then we are all okay.
And I know that you've intensified, as it were, your contact tracing. How would you say that is going to ensure that you're able to contain this virus as much as you would want to?
I would say that luckily for most of the clients we have met or we've received, most of them live alone. It's only the clients in, I think, Takwa, whose family members also came with him. So they are all under isolation and being looked after for the next 21 days. But none of them has any symptoms or signs at the moment. So let me hear you.
Please go ahead.
So let's say that over the next 21 days, we'll keep an eye on all those who we consider as high-risk contacts.
So for those who perhaps want to protect themselves, what immediate or preliminary steps can be taken to ensure that they don't contract the virus?
The funny thing is that unless the person has the monkeypox lesions over him or her, it's very difficult. You come into contact with that person. That's when you get monkeypox. Without that, there's no need for you to be worried that you're going to get monkeypox. The key thing for protection, so that protection for everybody, is let's improve our hand washing practices and hygiene practices. And as much as possible during this period, let's try and avoid unnecessary contacts, especially handshakes, fist bumps. That will help us a lot. That will keep a lot of us at arm's length away from monkeypox.
Doc.
The other thing is that indiscriminate, or let me say, we should avoid unprotected sexual intercourse with people we are not too sure of. That will also help us.
Doc, thank you so much for speaking to us.
Thank you very much.
And you had that Dr. Joseph Oliver Comey. He's Director, Ghana Infectious Disease Center, Mpox Case Management Lead as well. Now, the Accra Metropolitan Assembly is to embark on a major exercise to decongest the Central Business District. The exercise is targeted at traders who have overtaken the pavement. Safwa Boahene is our lady at the Accra Business District. She joins us live on the phone now. Safwa, just tell us what you've gathered so far regarding the exercise.
Yes, Beatrice, it has been a very interesting morning to afternoon, and still at the market. We actually visited quite a number of them, went to Circle, Underbridge, and spoke to some of the commuters. Most of them were talking about the fact that they are constructing a drainage system there, and that has impeded some of the traders who were there taking up their space. And so they have no other option than to move to the payments where passerbys and sellers or buyers use rather than the other. So that was their major complaint, that they have spoken to the AMA and they are aware of it. Yet the mayor is insisting that tomorrow, which is the ultimatum for the final, the decongestion exercise to take place tomorrow. And so they were pleading with the AMA and the mayor that they should look at that for them, because their place as of now is being used to construct a bridge or a gutter for them. But also moving to Tudu and speaking to some people at the Makola stretch and all, which is highly congested if you are a daily commuter of that place, you need not to be told. You already know how difficult it is for you to maneuver your place there. I actually spoke with some of the traders and would like to play for you to take a lesson to what they have been saying all along.
I'm sorry, Safwa. Okay, with. And you had some traders there. Obviously, one for the decongestion exercise, the last person you had saying that people are not supposed to be on the street, and the other not too enthused about the fact that this exercise is expected to take place tomorrow, thinking that that's a place for them to stay, make and sell and make money. Now, from Accra, let's head now to the Central Region, where traders selling on walkways and other unapproved places at the Kotokraba and some other major markets within the Cape Coast metropolis have welcomed the announcement by the Cape Coast Metropolitan Assembly, CCMA, to move into the market to sell, but have appealed for a lenient approach. The directive by the CCMA is a move to decongest the market as well to avert any disaster after appeals by the Ghana National Fire Service to create spaces for emergency responses. Let's try and get some of the municipal chief executive for the area.
As a Metropolitan Chief Executive, I think it is incumbent on me to meet my people and take their suggestions and their directive as to what to do. But we all need to brainstorm on how best we can arrive at a conclusion where we can bring sanity and bring development into this metropolis. Now, when you come to Kotokraba Market, it has been an issue. The place is highly congested and people are sitting on the street, which means they are not allowing car to be actually motorable or to allow the pedestrians even to move. They are sitting on the street selling. So if I want to apply robust decision or robust step, I don't think that would inure to the benefit, collective interest of all of us.
And you heard that the Municipal Chief Executive for the Cape Coast area, George Justice Arthur. Let's listen to some of the traders at the Kotokraba market.
I know the fountain. Yeah, come on, I want no fountain. One away the form you way. It's a motor to say. And paying for one you want in Casa.
Now, market in the exceptional market. This is a Sunday market. This is a Monday market. In the no say congestion bahwa a normal days.
And you heard that some traders are the Kotokraba market in Cape Coast in the Central Region. My name is Beatrice Adu. Thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. Log on to 3news.com for more news. Have a good afternoon.